All right. I presume the candidate nominee before the committee, without any hindsight, absolutely, is Mary Karen Sorobit. Confirm? Good.
My name is Mary Karen Sorobit, Chair and members of the JLAC. Thank you.
Thank you. And she was born Mary Karen Keegan. Makali will confirm that. Welcome, Mary Karen, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
Thank you.
They're here to vet you, and vetting involves two things under the Public Appointments Approvals Act: confirm your suitability and the process through which you were appointed. So we aren't doing an examination per se. That's why we'll ask you routine questions. So what we do is we'll introduce ourselves, after which, after introduction, you'll also introduce yourself. You take an oath first. You administer your oath. Then you take your oath. We give you 10 minutes or less. In fact, 10 minutes. You tell us who you are from birth to where you are today. After that, we will have questions fielded by members to clarify on the process by which you are nominated and why you are or you are not suitable to take up this position. So with those many remarks, I introduce myself, George Kitonga Murugara, Member of Parliament for Tharaka Constituency. I'm the Chairman, Justice and Legal Affairs Committee.
Mwengi Mutuse, MP Kibwezi West, Vice Chair.
Zuliaka Harun, nominated member and a member of this committee.
I am Michael Mushira, MP Rojororok, member.
Farah Mali, MP Dadap.
Adam Daud, Wajir East.
Kali, Member of Parliament for Kandui constituency, member of this committee. Chair, I must at this stage declare that I know Mary Karen. She was known as Mary Karen Keegan. We shared same class at the University of Nairobi, same lecture hall. Thank you, but that does not put me in any position of conflict.
Thank you. At least that disclaimer is important. Mushangi?
But the chair also talked about the same name, so, and you didn't declare anything, so can we hear you also?
Because I should, apart from knowing her when she came to the university as a young girl when I was possibly in third year. That's really I knew the name. We didn't share a class. But she must have participated in electing me to be the chairman of the Kenya Law Students Society. Thank you. Let's move on.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Mushangi Karemba, Member of Parliament for Runyenjes constituency and a member of this committee.
Otiende Molong, member for Arieda. We shared the same year, but not the class.
That is very true. She must have been, were you A-level?
Yeah, I was in the A-level group,
A-level group, and
Amolo Tiende was in the 844.
Good. Senior Moga.
Chair, my name is Stephen Mogaka, elected by West Mugrango constituency in Nyamira. I've shared nothing with the nominee.
That's a very good disclosure, which discloses nothing. They share the profession, apart from meeting in the courts and everything else. That is the sharing we have. Thank you so much. Secretariat.
Thank you, Chair. My name is Peter Chamana. I'm Director of Departmental Committees. And on my left are members of the Secretariat for the Justice and Legal Affairs Committee. And they consist of committee clerks, legal counsel, research officers, and other administrative officers. Thank you.
All right. Thank you very much. Mary Karen, we will now administer an oath to you. You profess your faith, and then we are able to swear you.
I, Mary Karen Keegan Sorobit, do swear that the information I shall give before this committee on the consideration shall be the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. So help me God.
Oh, thank you. All right. So, Mary Karen, now take us through the journey of your life. I mean, from which village, all the way we saw you in the university, past the university, all the way up to where you are today, appearing before us for vetting, as it is popularly known, so that we can confirm whether you're suitable or not suitable to become a commissioner of Iebc. 10 minutes.
Privilege appearing before this committee. I know it's not a right, and I want the good work that you're doing for Kenya. On the onset, I submit myself 100% to the jurisdiction of this committee. My name is Mary Karen Keegan Sorobit. I was born Keegan, the way the chair has informed. Sorobit is
head of compliance and ethics, and most importantly, the secretary to the Advocates Disciplinary Committee, wherein the disciplinary providing the secretariat services. And I worked there, then moved to, there was a new transitional commission, that is Judges and Magistrate Vetting Board, whereby I moved there as an assisting counsel. From prosecuting my colleagues or being in charge of my colleagues' lawyers, I moved in now to deal with the judges and magistrate as an assisting counsel. Same things that I was doing in LSK, but now in charge as judges. From there, when it ended, I'll come back to that one. I went to Jubilee Party of Kenya, and I want to declare that I was not a member of the Governing Council of Jubilee Party of Kenya. I went there as a member of the Secretariat, where I was the Deputy CEO and Head of Compliance and Ethics. It is from the Jubilee Constitution, it is only the ED who is member of the Governing Council. So that was our boss. I worked there in Jubilee Party of Kenya until 2021 when I moved back to practice. In between, I've had some tour of duties. I was in the board of Kenya National Highways, in Kenya National Highways Authority, that's Kenya, for a period of 6 years, representing the. I was a nominee of the Law Society of Kenya, whereby I was also the chair of Audit Governance and Risk Committee for a period of 6 years, where I discharged my duties. And I was also a member of the IBC selection panel. That is in 2017, the one of the former commissioners. Currently, I'm in practice. I think, in short, that is given the time. Yes.
Thank you very much. I think that cuts it. You've been all over. You've done everything with everybody. Now, these members have a few questions to ask you. And who starts? Honorable Dawood.
Chair, thank you very much. The nominee said that she was a Deputy Executive Director for Jubilee Party. I am actually a member of Jubilee Party. I've been elected through that party. But Madam Sorobit, if you look at Article 88, I know you kind of answered it, but I have to ask the question. Article 88 of our Constitution, 88, 2A, Roman numeral 2, says that a person is not eligible for appointment as a member of the Commission if the person is a member of a governing body of a political party. You reference the Jubilee Constitution, which unfortunately none of us has. We will look at it much later, but right now we don't have it. Now I want, if you are familiar with that Constitution, were you, as a Deputy Executive Director of Jubilee, were you a member
of Jubilee's governing council.
Out of that, anybody else who has
being a member of this commission, you will bring a lot of what you call of that that you have into practice. In your own opinion, look back at this because you've also been in the political environment. When you look back in our own electoral process in this country, in a nutshell, what exactly ailed us? Because from 1992, when I first came to Parliament myself, and most of your colleagues here were either in the university or there were some of them in primary school, and a friend of mine here was a teacher. We have had a post-election violence in each and every one of them, except the one of 2002. In your opinion, what is the line or thread that goes through all, and how, in your opinion, will your presence in the Iebc, how will that be resolved in your opinion? Thank you.
Anybody else who has something? Well, let her be answering that as members through the paperwork and ask as many. But most point out to us was that niche, the great experience you're taking to Iebc, which in your view will make a difference in respect of the commission. Totally different from what it has been before.
So that
yes, you may, so that
only one very simple question. Mary Karen, you said you were in the Secretariat of Jubilee. Will you assure us that you would not be biased if Jubilee, and we understand Jubilee has a presidential candidate, if Jubilee presents a presidential candidate?
Thank you, Chair and members of this committee. The first is as a Deputy Executive Director, where I was a member of Jubilee Party governing body. I wish to state categorically that I was not a member of Jubilee governing body. There was somebody filed a petition in regard to this one, and the law, if you look at Political Parties Act, when any political party is formed, each and every political party must file with the Registrar of Political Parties all the members of their governing body at any given time. In case of any changes, and when they are filed there, the Registrar of Political Parties will have to gazette them in Kenya Gazette, who are the members of the governing body. And in case of any amendment, also the political party has to notify the registrar, and the registrar will in return gazette the new members of the governing body. Chair and members of this committee, I wish to state that our records of Jubilee Party from inception to date, and I was actually given and submitted, and I filed an affidavit with this committee attaching the letter from my lawyer, who are called Nyanga Mugisha, who are requesting for the records, for the details, and also the response from the Registrar of Political Parties, which entails who are the original members of the governing body, including the CEO, and then in the second amendment, the current, because I requested from inception to date. And I wish...
Could we have that affidavit that she's referring to?
It's part of material. Please point it out. No, I saw it. I actually saw it. I saw it with no, I saw it. I saw it with the letter. No, I saw it. I must confess. I don't know how I saw it, but with the letter at the back detailing that. No, not somewhere else. Just here. But remember, I also saw the petition. I may not have seen the response, but I remember seeing this. Yes. You have it now.
I want to state that I received the invite together with the allegations or the petition against me on the day before yesterday around 8 p.m. So yesterday morning now is when I did the affidavit and submitted here in the afternoon. That is the best I could do. So I have attached the details showing clearly the initial one, and then when the Jubilee did changes, they were also gazetted, and the current. And you can see on the table there is the list of who was the initial ED and the current ED, including the gazette number of the gazette notice. And I want to state clearly that my name is not there as an executive director. So I want to state and may it go on record that I was a technical staff of Jubilee Party of Kenya. Chair, allow me to tackle that with the question of my colleague Otiena Mono, because it is counter-related, so that I don't come there. I want to say that I'm no longer a member of Jubilee Party of Kenya. May it go on record. So I will not even be biased on in favor of Jubilee. And even if...
Are you a member of any other party then?
Yes. I'm the member of UDA.
You are a member to UDA?
I'm a member of UDA.
Okay.
It's good to declare. When I left Jubilee in 2021, I was for a period, somebody can do a search, it's a public domain. Then I joined UDA later on. I personally, I will not be biased, as I've worked. If you go on my track record, from the time I worked in LSK, from the time I worked in vetting board, I have never been biased. Even in Kenya, I discharge my duties professionally, and I want to believe at any time, at any point in time, each and everyone here must have interacted with a party. But when you are dealing, if the client is Kenya, and Kenya comes first, and you have to discharge your duties according to the law and the written solution, because I personally owe a duty to Kenya, and I'm accountable to Kenyans at large. Of course, through JLAC. JLAC is the one which will be supervising me. The question of Honorable Farah, elections, what ails us? I've been in a political party, and I actually conducted election nominations, Jubilee Party nominations, and that is 2017. From the time we did the elections, we went to the Jubilee Party tribunal. That is because you must clear the internal mechanism first of all before going to PPDT, all the way to Supreme Court. Actually, at the end of the day in 2017, I swore 247 affidavits, including the petition in Supreme Court. My affidavits were 5. And what ails us as Kenyans, I think, in my own honest opinion, it's perception. We don't accept laws. It is very difficult for... At the end of the day, there has to be a winner and a loser. From the time, even when you are starting from the political party, even when somebody loses there, does not accept defeat, and they will even jump ship, go independent, what have you. So it is perception, and we really need to deal with issue of perception, and we do a lot of civic education and stakeholder building, and this one even the parties themselves can help us by informing their candidates that at the end of the day, even if we are 5, one will win, not all of them, because the slot is only 1. And when somebody loses, goes back to their supporters and tell them to Libiwa, which sometimes, honestly, when you go through them, it is not a question of kuibiwa. And if we do civil education, educate Kenyans and tell Kenyans, please, if your person or supporter loses, even if they normally bind themselves that they are going to support the winner, we need to effect it. I don't know how, but we're almost there, but we need also to go further.
Kuanga kuibiwa. Is it a reality that sometimes the results may not be as good as they should be? That there is an element of cheating and fraud? Is it common, or does it happen once in a while?
Let me talk from the experience that I did personally at hand at the Jubilee Party. If you do proper nominations and do proper civic education, and each and every person, because you know, as a candidate, you have even your agents, and you train even your agents on how they are going even to guard your elections. Sometimes hakuna kuibiwa. It might be perception. That is me. And as an umpire, you will stand there and supervise them. And even give an example. When we were doing the Jubilee Party election in 2017, there was this member of the county assembly who definitely had lost. And when we were doing the appeals tribunal, he comes to me when I was in my office and gives me his Form 34A. According to him, I need to give him certificate because he had lost. He had won, yet I've given certificate to the other person. When I look at the Form 34A, it had been, they add a zero. Somebody adds a zero. You know, when you add a zero, it makes a total difference. And even that time, at gunpoint, he gave me, it was 2 a.m. And he brought, and he told me, you know, these ones, they are not toys, they are guns. You give me a certificate or not, but there's always God. Something, when you are doing something, somebody comes in.
Mary, Chairman, just to ride on that question. Mary Karen, are you saying there are no instances of election irregularities in Kenya?
What I've said, thank you, Council, thank you, Honorable Mheshimiwa. What I've said, I'm giving my experience. I'm not talking outside there. They may be there or there, but I'm talking about my experience. When I say about my experience, I'm not ruling out outside, because there are allegations, but have those allegations been proved? And that is why there is always the court to verify. And whenever I want to believe if there was malpractice, the courts will always nullify and you'll go back to elections.
Just through the chair again, just on that point, have you not had instances of the courts saying the elections are not free and fair, there was ballot stuffing, there was bribery, there was voter manipulation? Are those not irregularities? Yeah, before she answers, let me also give a bite there. Is it not a presidential election of a Jubilee candidate that has ever been nullified in this country by the courts? So how can she say that the irregularities are out there? Because that is on record in this country.
Right.
I
just respond to that in your opinion.
I have said whenever the irregularities, the court nullified. That was my answer. Meaning, when there is irregularities, that is why we have to court. And even the Jubilee Party election was nullified because the court found that there were irregularities and it was nullified. Even we've had not one instances, even for the Member of Parliament, MCAs, in which personally I've litigated using my affidavits. And they're nullified and we agree and we move on. So it exists.
Comes the mischief now that if the nominee was associated with the Jubilee Party election that ended up being nullified by court, what confidence does she bring to the Iebc that is being constituted now that will not culminate in the same fiasco that the court had to pronounce as it did?
All right. That I don't know whether nullification was on the part of Jubilee or Iebc, but yes. I leave you to answer that. Farah.
Chair, I'm right on that. When the lady, the candidate, is extremely candid, she says, my experience. And that basically refers only to the elections that she took part in. But having said that, Madam Sorobit, election riggings have happened in the past at the national level, at many other constituencies. I'm actually impressed and glad that whatever you conducted yourself as always. And that is usually proved by or demonstrated when somebody jumps ship and becomes independent and wins to the landslide. which means that the previous election itself, or the nomination elections, was basically flawed. I also understand that anywhere else, party elections are very private matters. My belief on that is very different from what generally happens in the country, where people go to litigations on party matters. Party is a private organization, and if the leadership of that party decides on somebody who's going to be a loser, that party loses at the end of the day and does not ascend to power. So, but having now had your own experience, which I want to believe that was very, very good, and the passion with which you speak with, I'm convinced that you did a lot of very fair, free, and credible elections. How do you intend to cascade that into the national elections? Because the national elections, where different parties were running for the presidency, and even at the parliamentary levels, for the longest, have never been free of rigging and manipulations. Thank you.
Yes, you may take those answers in conclusion so that we do the final bit.
Thank you, Chair. On the issue of the Jubilee election, which was nullified, if you read that ruling, there were several other issues not part of the party, and it does not personally affect me, and I was not even mentioned as a party. The irregularities were wide, and even several recommendations were given, and most of it, I think, was on the part of Iebc, not Jubilee Party. Thank you, Honorable Farah. In Iebc, when I reach there with my expertise, I intend to, first and foremost, I think even we need to start with the proposal on the audit of the last elections. It will tell us where we are, what went wrong, and how we can improve. Because when you do that one, you'll be able now to know clearly where we are going. And I promise, if cleared by this committee, I'll be a neutral umpire, and I intend to do my best to deliver credible elections to this Kenya. So when you do that audit election and you see what needs to be improved, that's the first and foremost. Second, then again, we need to build consensus and do a lot of civic education to inform Kenyans. And also, I think if I'm successful, we also need to start by from the boardroom and requesting the chairman to do the gazettement so that we do voter registration, because it ought to be continuous, because that is also another way of securing Kenyan rights, because we have a lot of, even like the young people who need to also to register as part of election. So those are the things. So that's another thing I'm bringing on my expertise. Even on issue of delimitation of boundaries, we're already too late, and I've not been asked, but on my take, I also think that's an expertise I want to bring. In my own view, we are late. Should have been done by 24th of March this year. I think we need, through this committee, to do parliamentary process and amend Article 89 to allow enlargement of time so that we can do voter registration. So those are some of the things I'm looking at.
Karemba, you're the last one, please.
Now that she has mentioned that we have very many young people who are not yet registered so as to participate in their constitutional right, can the nominee explain to this committee how you are going to convince the young people to rally behind you, yet they are not going to be represented in the commission, and you know too well that in this country we have now the highest population being that of the very young. How are you going to onboard the young people, given that even in the list of the nominees we do not have a young person representing them?
Yeah, not only young persons with disability. How are we going to look to the world when young persons are not in the commission, as well as persons with disability?
All right, you may give your opinion regarding that. Young persons includes people of how many years? 35 and below. All right.
Thank you, Chair. My take would be this. Trust is not something that given. It is built with time. and also it's the way you conduct yourself or discharge your duties is when you can win people's trust. When I reach there, if I'm successful, you need to build trust of the young people and see actually that I do matter and represent them. Come up with programs that it will entail them with the young people. When you're making any decision, include them, the young people. Although sometimes it might be difficult to now get, because they need also to have a structured way of engaging the young people. Maybe like in the political parties, they normally have the youth wing. So maybe you can have something like a caucus or that you use to engage the youth, so that you have structured them of way of engaging or dealing with the youth, so that when you're making any decision, do stakeholders engagement with them. But again, when you're doing stakeholders engagement, let's have a structured way of engaging these youth, so that you work with them, you onboard them. At the end of the day, even the policies that you're going to make, at the end of the day, they will see that that you are with them, and that is how you can build trust, because trust is built with time. I cannot say today I'm going to build trust today, you entrust me, but it's my actions which are going to show that actually I am carrying with them. PWD, also the same thing. We also need to do programs with them and engage them. They also have a caucus, but again, I think affirmative action. We also need to do affirmative action. The parties also need so much to reach out to them. But this is now me, the way I've been seeing. Maybe in distant future, we may need to give them seats where they'll contest for themselves, have for country rep. Is it aggravated so that we can give them? I don't know. You know that in future, so that they can contest on their own. That is, I'm saying, that is my own.
That's your own view, because we have the Constitution that also makes provisions,
yes,
and especially through nominations. Now, the last questions are as follows. Number one, tell us whether you've been convicted of any offense, criminal offense in the past.
Chair and members of the panel.
What about Chapter 6 of the Constitution? Have you been held to be in breach of that particular chapter of our Constitution in any event, in any action?
Not at all, Chair.
Good. Do you have any conflict of interest between yourself, your dealings, your families, relatives with Iebc, which you can point out now?
Yeah, none. And should if I'm successful and it should arise, it is upon me to declare.
You will declare and deal with it in accordance with the law.
Constitution.
Good. Do you do any pro bono works in the country?
I do through the church, through my church, the AIC money. Yes. We do especially for widows and children, in which I am a secretary to one of the committees which do a lot of welfare and the promotion. We look at them.
Okay.
Yes.
Good. Now, finally, what is your net worth?
My family net worth is 80 million. As I declared.
80.
80. Yeah, yes.
And right, what does it comprise of?
It's assets, family assets, the houses and land, and also land in Eldred, matrimonial home, cars, and the vehicles.
Your matrimonial home is in Nairobi or in Eldoret?
I have a home in Nairobi and in Eldoret.
And all of them are valued at 80 million?
The one in Eldoret is, the value in Eldoret is low. Yeah, the one. I think for Nairobi should be 30-something million. Yes. So that's the other difference.
We need to know this, because soon after that, possibly it's going to get enhanced in a manner that will be suspicious, and we shall be putting you to question. All right, do you expect any income, any other income in the near future from any other source? No.
You don't have any cows back at home, even if they're the traditional long-horned ones. No, the same way Nyamira always talks of Nyamira, for me when it comes to pastorals, cows are always there.
Yes.
So if you have cows, you better declare them, so that in future when you take them to the market, nobody will claim that you took this money from Iebc.
And what William suggests what? which name suggests about cows? You say as your name suggests.
Sorobit is a cow. You don't know.
In their language?
Yeah. In our language.
All right, absolutely.
I have cows, they're like 5, but not because my land is small. And that is why you get the values kidogo.
Right, we've had you. Okay.
That question, very current. You are not practicing.
I do practice, but as an associate now, from the time I've been in corporate for long.
And you are not expecting any income out of practice?
As an associate, when you leave, you leave. I'm not ashamed.
Yeah, it's just a possible salary for 1 or 2 months. That's the end of it. But, all right. All right, associate, thank you. Mary Karen, thank you so much. I think we will close at this. Do you have anything else to ask this committee to do for you? What is your prayer to us now? How do we deal with you?
Thank you, Chair. My plea is that you find me favorable, but I leave that to the commission, to the committee, and I promise to discharge my duties independently the way I've been working, from all the way my track record from LSK, even changing the election of LSK from the ballot to the current one. You know, it was me. I'm the one who did it. From the one who used to carry the letters, you know, the current letters. And so I promise to continue working the way I've been working. And one last thing, this committee is doing a lot of work. Thank you. Very good work for Kenya. May the Lord bless you.
Thank you very much. We extend the same blessings to you. We will make a decision, take it to the House, and the House will decide whether to approve or not approve you. But we have heard you to the fullest. Thank you very much. You are discharged.
Thank you very much.
Give Mary Karen our documents, original documents. Make sure nothing is left behind so that we are not accused of having hoarded our documents to our detriment. Honorable members, we will have a short break of 45 minutes. 2:45, we have to be back. 2:45 o'clock. Good, take 30 minutes. Okay, 3 o'clock. Let's say 3 o'clock so that we deal with the remaining 3. Very good.